A question I get asked all the time is, Steve, what are the main differences and similarities between FM Touch and the full version of the game? Well, today we're going to break that down. So then guys, welcome back to the FM Scout YouTube channel. My name is Steve or Hood Gaming, and today we are going to be talking about the main similarities and differences between FM Touch and the full version of the game. But before we get into things guys, if you do think you will find this video useful, make sure to hit that like button down below, and if you aren't already, make sure you do subscribe to the FM Scout YouTube channel and ring that bell so that notifications are turned on, so that you're told every time that the channel uploads a video. So let's get into things. The main difference for me is in terms of the level of detail, and what better place to start than when we set up a game. So then guys, kicking off the in-game portion of this video, we are going to talk about the level of detail that you can do at the start of your game. We are currently in the full version of Football Manager, and as you can see, if we go on the add or remove leagues, there is a plethora of teams that you can, or nations and leagues that you can select. I could select all of these leagues. Let's hypothetically put some in so you can see the differences. We'll have Belgium, we'll have Holland. Where else would we like to manage? Germany, France, yes. We've already got Spain. Let's add in Scotland and Portugal. So now we confirm that, we can change our database size up to 37,000. Let's make that a large database. So the database and the player pool in this specific game set up this way is 43,210 players. Whereas if we go over to the touch version of the game, you only have the option to add 3 nations to your save, whilst you still can do all the leagues within that nation. So for instance, in this save, I could have all the way down to the Spanish Serie B, or Spanish Second Division B, the Italian Serie C, and all the way down to the Vanarama National League North-South. That is all I can add in. I can't add in any other nations, guys. I can only have those 3 nations loaded. So for me, that is a very big difference in terms of detail level that you can have right off the rip in terms of the differences between the 2 games. The next level of detail difference for me is in terms of the training that you can implement in your club. So I am again in the full version of Football Manager right now, and as you can see, I can jump in the calendar and you can see all of the schedules for the entire season. You can set it out at the start of the season. You can take a look at your preseason. If we go all the way through, we are now at in the December window, and you can see you can set the styles here. You have preseason options, you've got tactical options, you've got specific scenario basis like big match preparation if you have a big cup match coming up. Then obviously you have your basic generic training styles. Obviously you can go down here and you can change all of these depending on week by week and what you would like your team to train. In addition, you can go in to websites like FM Scout, find specific training programs that I will leave a link to down below, and you can use those to improve your team and really develop and get the best out of your team and your young players. Whereas if we go into the touch version of the game, things are a lot more stripped back. Obviously you can assign everything to your assistant as well, but if you take control of things yourself as the manager, you can only say what the training focus is. You can just say, okay, upcoming now, I want us to work on possession. And as you can see, it gives you the little example. Training will be balanced to help improve the squad's ball control skills. And that's kind of all you can do. So in pre-season, you're probably going to want to set something along the lines of physical. And then as you build into the season, maybe week by week, switch it up which one of these you do. Or obviously, you could just delegate the entire lot to your assistant manager. Next up then guys is the entire club dynamics section. Now this is where you get to interact with all of your players. As you can see here, I'm in the club dynamics section of the full game, and you can see the team cohesion, the club atmosphere, and the managerial support. And this is all where you can see who the club hierarchy is, who the club's social groups are, how happy everyone is. You can see all of this information. You can hold a team meeting if you want to. I didn't want to hold a team meeting. That's awkward. Then we go into the team talk feedback. You can see how your team talks got on, and you can basically drill down into how happy or unhappy your players are here. If you have issues within your squad, they will appear here. So if a player wants to leave, you know about it. You can see them being unhappy, and you can also see how that is impacting the club atmosphere. As you can see at Bristol City in this current save, save. There are many contrasting personalities throughout the club. And if we look at the top influencers, you can see there's no team leaders, which is probably a real issue for Bristol City in real life. Lots of highly influential players, a few influential players, and then just one other player. As you can see, this is someone who has come in on loan, so they don't necessarily fit into the club hierarchy. Now, this is all very well and good for understanding your team, but can become very complicated and will have a detrimental effect on your save if you are not managing this correctly and talking to your players. Another key feature I really want to highlight is the difference of the instant result button in the match engine for FM Touch. Now, if you're in the habit of trying to save time and you want to fire through the games as quickly as possible, this is a massive, massive plus that the normal game doesn't have on basic skins. It gives you, as it says on the tin, an instant result. So I have this game here, Natwich versus Bristol City. As I said, this is on the FM Touch version of the game. I've done a quick pick. This is my team. This is my formation. Obviously, this is a formation I have been using in my Twitch save with Monaco Madness. But if we hit this instant result here, it says, are you sure you want to leave the staff to this, leave this match to your staff? Yes, I do. Set match plan. Do not use match plan. Or you can kind of set one of these. You can say play for the draw if you're having a bigger game, settle for a draw, play for the win, go for a big win. So I'm going to say go for a big win in this one, and we're just going to say yes, proceed to simulate the match. You hit yes, the game advances. And how did we get on against Natwich? 7-0. Absolutely massive result. We were 6-0 up at halftime. As you can see, it gives you a breakdown of all the stats. 26 shots, 13 on target, 66% of possession. Taylor Moore scoring 3 for a defender. That's very impressive. Tommy Rowe with 4 assists as well. So very, very good result. But that is a massive feature if you are trying to save time. You don't want to watch the match engine. You just want that instant result and that instant a way to power through a season. Then FM Touch is the game for you. And the final difference for me is team talks and press conferences. It's that other level of interaction that you have to do with the game in the full fat version of the game. As you can see here, I have a press conference, Hood to meet the media. We can attend the press conference. Obviously, you can set the responsibility here within the main game and say that you don't want to do these things. However, if you do want that more hands-on approach, you do want to interact with your media and your team in terms of team talks, going into the dressing room and being able to motivate the team before a big game and say the right thing is very important, in my opinion. Press conferences, not so much. But you can obviously go in and you can start this press conference, whereas in the FM Touch version of the game, these things are non-existent. You don't have press conferences. You do not have team talks before or during or after the game. It is, as I said, a much more streamlined version of the game where the focus is strictly on the results and the things your team does on the pitch. The first main similarity for me is that it is exactly the same match engine. As you can see here, we have a game going on in the background. It is Bristol City versus Oviedo. It is a pre-season friendly, but we are in the FM Touch version of the game. The match day engine is exactly the same in both versions of the game. And as you can see, we are about to have a penalty and potentially take the lead against Oviedo here. But this is the main thing for me. This is what the game is all about. It is all about the match engine. Oh, Sessegnon sees his penalty saved. Anyway, this is what the game is all about for me. It is all about the football and the play on the pitch, and having the exact same version of the game in the matchday engine from both sets is absolutely fantastic. So then guys, the next thing I wanted to talk to you about in terms of similarities is the match day UI. So UI stands for user interface, and we are currently in the FM Touch version of the game, another pre-season game, Bristol City against Oviedo. And as you can see, this is the exact same in the full version of the game as it is in the touch version. You have the touchline tablet here where you can customize what you want to see in terms of latest scores or the table or, you know, stats about your team. Obviously, you can change all of this around. You can take a look at what you want to have on the screen during your games if you are going through and playing the games. This is the exact same version, exact same thing in both versions of the game, so you're definitely not missing out on anything there. And the final similarity for me is the way that you can import tactics and add-ons into the game. You can do this on both the full version of the game and the FM Touch version of the game. As you can see here, I'm about to go into a match against Oviedo and I have my Monaco Madness tactic loaded in. You can do this from any of the tactics on FM Scout, or you can make your own and save them across and use them in different saves. As you can see, I've got a plethora of tactics in here. I use a lot of them on my own channel using my tactic tester, where we take a look at some of the creators in the community's best tactics out there. Obviously, we've got some different ones here that I have been working on, but as you can see, you are able to import them into the game regardless of whether you're using touch or the full version of the game, and play the tactic you want to use. So then guys, that is it for the similarities and the differences, but what I will end this video on saying is entirely up to your personal preference and the amount of detail that you want to go in your games. Obviously, if you want to manage the finite experience of the club, from the training, the dynamics, and being able to speak to the press and saying how well your team is and talking to your team members, then definitely the full version of the game is for you. If you want to just load in quickly, fire out some games, bash out a season and be dominant on the pitch, then I definitely think FM Touch is for you. If you have to try and get games in a small period of time, you don't necessarily have days like I do in some instances to spend on the summer transfer window, for instance, I usually take a long period of time looking at that, looking at how good my staff are and trying to find the next wonder kids. Whereas if you're more interested in just getting things done on the pitch, FM Touch is definitely for you. That is where I'm going to leave things today, guys. If you have enjoyed today's video, make sure you drop a like on it down below and subscribe to the FM Scout YouTube channel and ring that bell so that notifications are turned on, so you're told every time the channel uploads a video. But that is where I'm going to leave it. I'll be back for another video on this channel very, very soon. Take care, guys, and I'll see you soon.